only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. A lot of people think that marijuana isn't dangerous, but they're wrong. Because not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse because not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. A lot of people think that marijuana isn't dangerous, but they're wrong. Because not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. A lot of people think that marijuana isn't dangerous, but they're wrong. Because not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. A lot of people think that marijuana isn't dangerous, but they're wrong. Because not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't because not only does it harm a person's body and mind, but it often leads users to try other, even more dangerous drugs. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it. Oh. Never try marijuana, don't try it at all. It's a lie, it's like beating your head on a wall. Say no way, marijuana's a fast way to fall. You will pay, 'cause it's doing you no good at all. And you know, if you gamble with life, you can lose it. Gotta grow, 'cause your life is a gift, don't abuse it.
Mic check.
Mic check.
What's it all about?
We are insanely live. Let me turn that cool crime dog down. That dirty dog, McGruff the crime individual. He doesn't know what's up.
McGruff the crime canine.
The crime canine. I wonder what happened to him. They kind of must have let that one go, huh? After so many years. He was on his last day of retirement and something horrible happened, I'm assuming. What up, YouTube? It's Tuesday. Trying a different evening here.
Hi.
You're live with the Hi There gang. We're hanging out. We're talking
Surprise!
UX.
You knew you couldn't wait.
No, we're here. We figured we'd try a different night. Why not? For those who don't know, we're a couple of UX designers. We've been doing this for a long time, and we like to get together on YouTube and work on dumb projects and talk about it while we're going, hoping you're going to learn a thing or two. How you doing, Ian? How was your week?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, working on some projects at work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that may or may not involve a form
Mm-hmm.
of sorts. So
So you
yeah,
thought,
let me tell you about my problem.
tell me about your problem. So yeah, you could probably tell from the episode title and what you're looking at right now. We're talking about forms this week. Those pesky forms, you know.
Forms and research.
I mean, I know enough about forms. I learned about forms in 2002, and you type your name in them and you hit the button. I don't understand how they could be any better.
I think we should. I think we owe it. I think we owe it to ourselves to try. And so
I think we should get there. I actually think
That's
in the
what
grand
we're-
scheme of things, you know a lot more about this field than I do. Like, I mean, I've picked up what I picked up, but I think you've done a lot more research on the topic.
I have. And speaking of research, it's a little bit meta.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm trying to do here is like a two-pronged approach. We set up like a research repository at
Mhm.
work. I'm going to drag this into view here so we can go preview. I've clipped off the actual content.
Okay.
So, because it's sort of confidential, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
Ish enough. I don't know. It comes from your department.
But you can kind of see, yeah. So it's really just a place where like it collects all of our research.
Okay.
From the viewer's perspective, we like work on reports here and then publish them. From everyone else in the company's perspective, they can go to this page. If we don't share like a report directly with them through a link, they can go to this page anytime and we can kind of custom design it a little bit. And at the top, we've just got, like I said, I had to cut it off, but it's kind of like a Pinteresty board of just the latest research reports that we've published. Some of them are really small little things. Some of them are bigger reports, just any kind of time we kind of get a little insight or something that we think is worth sharing or capturing.
Mm-hmm.
We put it into this repository that's it's actually built on Dovetail, which you are familiar with. You use it too. for things.
Yeah, Dovetail,
It's a big
popular
platform.
research platform for capturing, I guess, data from interviews and research and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's
that
pretty
makes
big.
sense. That makes sense to me. um,
So yeah, we've had this platform, and I've kind of shared it around with some, like, there's a bunch of people in the company that I think will benefit from this.
mhm.
It's, I don't want to use
Yeah,
this lingo too much, but it's all of the like democratizing, where they say like democratizing data or democratizing research, but really that just means making it easily accessible. Because before, and I'm not criticizing anything, the way I was, even organizing stuff, we were using like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint and things, right?
mhm.
But stuff would get stored on OneDrive, it would get emailed around, it would get shared in Teams and stuff, and it was great. But then after time had gone by, like it would be like, oh, where was that report? You know what I mean? Or where did it go? So now this thing, I cut the top part of it off too a little bit, but it has
I
a
did
search
that.
bar at the top. So, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was
Um,
like, I'll just cut that out of there. So,
so you can search stuff too. So people can go, like, if they're wondering something, now that all of our research is kind of combined in here, you can, someone can go and type like whatever, like product images, and see like, oh, is there any data or interviews we have where we've tagged product images? So it's really useful. I want to get people used to the idea. Like the UX department where I work is new. It's like a year old, like just now. I've been there for 1 year. I just had my anniversary email. Yay.
yeah.
And so I just want to get people, one, like knowing that this research is here and exists, but also used to the idea of coming to check this out sometimes, maybe, and even like asking us a question. And that's where the form comes in, whatever that looks like. But I want to have like a way to request like a research question. Like if you're like, oh, how do customers use this part of our site? Like, we don't want you to tell us what the survey question is. We just like, what are you wondering about? And so that
So,
brings me to what I'm trying to solve here is like, yeah, so I'm trying to brand. I was like, how could we brand this? I kind of stole this UX picture, I got image from somewhere, but I don't want it to be about UX. I want it to be research, because I think it's beyond like UX, because people are going to think of UX as design
mhm.
only. And so I want it to be research focused. And so, yeah, I was trying to think of a way to brand it, just to make it kind of cool and interesting. You know what I mean? And in a way, it's sort of like marketing and advertising within the company a bit, like trying to get attention to it, make it look interesting, make people want to submit a question through it.
Mhm.
I was trying to think of like, even do we brand that form or whatever and call it like, it'll probably end up getting stuck with this, because I was just like, call it like the research hotline or something, or like research 311, just something dumb,
We definitely
but
should.
that will stick in people's heads. So yeah, I
So,
like where you're going.
so, wait, are we talking about the graphic for this header, or are we talking about the form? Like, what are we? Are we?
I guess both.
Yeah. So I guess like that makes sense to me. What are we actually asking users to submit?
A research question, and so there will need to be a little bit of preamble about what that means. Going to have to like teach people how to ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
because a research question, well, it's not that complicated, but we just want to know what people want to know. Like what research should we do? What do you not know that you want to know? We'll go do the research. The company has this resource now, with people that can go find answers for them. So if they're puzzled by something or curious or trying to design something or solve a problem, we can go and actually get insights for them, and that would be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not used to having that, and I think there's just kind of, this happens everywhere, and it's better here than I've seen in most places, but there's still some silos, and people, don't necessarily like, it's not that they don't talk to each other, but
Well, I mean, maybe we can get
um,
into actually like it's a little bit easier to look at like form fields. or a form or whatever. But I'm curious because, I mean, if I was coming to a portal like this to fill out a form, I'm kind of assuming that nobody's going to look at it. You know what I mean?
Why would you assume that?
I see that as a barrier because typically these kind of forms like go to a person on the other end, and that email address, like whatever the form sends to, doesn't. I guess, sorry, I'm not trying to dump on your idea. I'm like, I see it as a challenge to make the UX hotline or the research hotline like engaging in a way that might be different from other forms.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, the form itself, you know, it's only going to have one field, I guess, potentially. So the design of the form isn't so much complicated. It's more of like advertising this thing, I think, too.
Slide that bad boy off to the side. Let's just make a page. Let's just doodle a page. We can doodle, can't we? We can doodle a page. You had mentioned that graphic, and I do want to tackle that at some point. Even if it's not on the stream, I'll just like whole ass make it for you.
Yeah, just pick a...
Let's make a thing. I'll come over to your house. Make it something.
But where was I going with that thought? Oh yeah, this is kind of my, yeah, you're right about that challenge. This is already my second attempt. So the first attempt was putting this out, and haven't really gotten, and I mean, you know, it's not like everyone should have to do something immediately, but haven't gotten a lot of requests yet. But we have provided some good insights to people. It's like, hey, here's some cool reports, and they're like, oh wow, this is very good. So I'm trying to ride that momentum. It's like, hey, we did this research that you didn't even ask us to do, but we found out some things that you can now use. So I'm trying to ride that before it gets cold too, where it's just like, hey, we're launching this thing, and I want to launch it, like make a spectacle of it, just for the sake, literally for the sake of making it look bigger and cooler than it is. And making like UX like it's a cool thing. UX is cool. I don't know.
No, it's not.
Like I'm trying to sell it. And because I have to make, you know, I think what we're delivering is valuable to the company, but a new problem that I have to worry about now is ensuring that's a responsibility I have, to make sure that we're valuable to the company, and they don't, not that I think they would, like, I don't want, this is just hypothetical, but like I've seen departments get cut at companies. I've seen people get cut.
Oh, so, I've seen people get cut.
And I've seen departments get reduced and employees get cut. So I have to protect my employees.
Okay. This is getting a little.
I have to make sure that I can get them like money, like raises, as much as possible. So I need, yeah. All right, so that's my problem. Nick, solve it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to solve typing.
The future of 3 people's jobs depend on you.
Not on, you're the forms guy. I'm here to learn your knowledge. Tell me the things that you know.
It's not
what,
even
want me making
problem.
Decisions here. My decision here would be like, you know what? Fuck it. Don't do any research. Bootstrap forever, baby. No, I'm here. I'm engaged. I'm just writing some bullet points as we're talking. Users are able to submit requests for specific pieces of research. Like, there might be a workflow needed here.
No, that's not what because we don't want them submitting anything to do with pieces of research. I just want to know what their questions are about our customers. I don't want them to tell me to do a survey, because that's too far. I just say, okay, what do you want to know? I'll figure out how to. To do it.
That line took this from kind of boring to sort of fun. Because they can ask a question. They're asking a question into the void, and they're going to get a research person on the other side. So users are able to submit questions about.
I had a really good article that described it well.
So They
Oh,
should.
it was called. I think I found it. It was called "Research Questions Are Not Interview Questions," and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." I'm not asking people to tell me like what to ask customers. Like, I don't want you to write the script for the customer interviews. I just want you to know what you're wondering, and I'll figure out the way to ask it properly. So it's a good deal. Like, you should take that deal. It's very little effort on their part. Unless they want to be more involved, I would be happy. But we can take very little and run with it.
Oh, but hey, Ian, it's me, Marty from shipping, and I've worked here for 20 years.
Can I get
I don't.
Can I
how do
interest in some research?
I don't need no. I know my customers, Ian.
We usually just do what we think is best.
We tell them to email info at with a general question. Yeah, I get it. It's interesting.
Like a good question is, why do people leave a page without buying something? That's a question we're trying to answer. Like, if you're looking at a part for your fridge, your fridge is broken.
Your products and your prices are
prices are probably number one. Yeah, prices are too high.
That's
but, yeah.
I don't want to go down that road.
Good...
I don't want to go too far down that road because specific to your organization, that's a very long-winded discussion. Let's keep
it's a little bit different because, yeah.
So we're creating an internal tool. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to recap. An internal tool for storing a searchable database of research insights. Is that part of this?
That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It is called a research repository. If that component was missing, it would really suck at being a repository. It would be more like the empty void.
Searchable database of research. That's
Searchable database of research insights. Users are able to submit questions.
If you know.
Customers, they should expect to hear from the rep in the research department with insights about the question. Very cool.
Well, this is a good thing to discuss too, because, well, and part of it is like, what do I call this thing? Like, I want to name it like the research hotline or something like that. Then we can put some Drake memes in it.
Yeah, is there like a Drake thing we can do here, like hotline?
I swear to God,
what rhymes with bling? Let's open up a rhyming dictionary.
I had an image search of Drake hotline bling, because it's like those big colored rooms that he's in. I'm like, you could run with that. Like, people would think it's like silly, but everyone would be talking about it in the company and everyone would remember it. And if it became a meme, that would be great, because I think it would be. I don't care. It's fun and I want to do it.
I've got Rhyme Zone up on the stream here.
Oh, what can we do? But no, before I don't want to overpass what you said before of like the workflow of like, the emails will get read, but we're not going to action every single question. So it is like, what do you do? How do you you know what I mean? So that is something to think about too. Like, how do you say like, hey, not all questions get answered.
They kind of have to if it's an internal tool.
Not if it's a useless question.
Yeah, but then that person never ever uses that service ever again. They
Might
go, oh, that's dumb.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Well,
to
contrast, we have
to interject here. Flung. We could do lung. This is supposed to rhyme with bling. One syllable. This doesn't rhyme with bling. Among. I think Rhyme Zone is broken. Dog. I broke Rhyme Zone. Or Drake is paying Rhyme Zone off to make sure that nobody ever finds out.
That's probably it. He's making
the truth.
He's making stacks. He's working with one of those sketchy casinos. Did you see that?
Oh, is he really?
He's doing like Twitch streaming, like gambling with like stake.com.
Dude, we full on gonna watch that. We full on gonna watch that. That'd be hilarious.
Does Drake need money? Like because that's sketch. That's weird.
Drake was into Twitch streaming at some point during the pandemic. and then
He's a
flies
reputable
in.
human, though, to be engaged, to be associated with that and all the people that surround him.
Maybe he
To
just
like,
really likes playing like video slots.
well, he probably gets like they were talking. I was watching a video about it, and it's like they were showing what some of the other people make, like the Twitch streamers. So it's like
Yeah.
if they make that much, then Drake must be making like $10 million a month
Yeah,
for
like
it.
you have your.
But still, he has tons of money. I guess I don't understand what money can buy because I don't have enough. He's probably like, dude, like you can get like super airplanes. I don't know. I'm sure if you live in that world, like you know how to spend your money.
Totally, yeah.
There's stuff to buy.
Yeah.
Just buy gold versions of things.
I
Gold
can't stop
toilet.
thinking about what a super plane is. What is a super plane? I want one.
I don't
I've
know.
never even
It's just
been near one.
it's like
Last
when
time I
rich
went
people
on a
go to the
plane-
airport.
Last time I went on a plane, it was one of those ones where there's no like walkway. You just go out onto the tarmac, and there's like a plane.
I've done
waiting
that too,
for
and
you.
I'm just like, are you sure this is? I've seen TV shows where this is how people get abducted for ransom.
On the tarmac. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's true.
You know, it's just like, no, come out this side door.
Yeah, come on, go into this black van. It will take you to your plane. I'm making a big header.
Just a sound check. We sound pretty good, but I'm yelling a bit.
Yeah, no, I'm yelling a bit too, and I'm super close to the mic, but whatever. We're hobbyists.
It's all good.
What
In
about the
Iceland,
Yeah.
Iceland, you land like a kilometer away from the airport, and then you get on this giant standing up bus that has no seats, that goes like 4,000 miles an hour and like 85 G-force turns, while you're trying to hold on to your luggage and one of those bars, and then drives you to the airport. It's just like going like.
Yep, been on one of
Nuts.
those. I got on one of those airport shuttles in the morning once, and it was empty, and it was the happiest moment of my life. It was like a golden chariot to the skies. Dude, without revealing too much, I found out today that we live in a place that is soon going to have direct flights to Frankfurt, Germany. And like,
I heard that too.
how are
Revealing too much.
How are me and
People
our
don't know where we live.
I know. How are me and our close group of friends not going to Frankfurt, Germany for a week? Like, why not? You step on a tube, the tube does its thing, you get off the tube at the other end, and then we're there. We could eat all the food. And then you just go home by getting on the tube again. It's like a teleporter from Star Trek that takes way too long.
Yeah, it's a slow teleporter. I'm in. Why not? I say yes to that.
For real though, dude, we should be looking up cheap flights, because even if it's an 8-hour flight and we went for 48 hours, is that not like a totally mind-blowing 2 days? Like, why not? I'm just like messing with some stuff here. Have we talked about your
just looking at
Microsoft
this-
feature request on stream yet? Is that screenshot around
No.
here?
Let's drag that shebang over.
Yeah, Ian suggested something to Microsoft Teams, and they basically told him to get fucked, get wrecked.
Yeah, they
Something
told me
like
to.
that?
Yeah, they're like, go. Yeah, it was spelled like REKT too, and I think that.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be offensive and vulgar. I
It
don't
is. It's like a
know
Proud
about
Boys
that
thing.
stuff
To spell
very
wrecked
much.
like that is kind of like a Proud Boys thing. A lot of
No,
people
I
don't know
know.
that.
I didn't know it was Proud Boys though.
I
It's kinda
I
funny.
completely made that up on the spot. But yeah, okay.
Okay, good, because I thought it was sort of funny and I didn't want to support them. Yeah, they're like, fuck you, pound sand. And they gave me this link, and then I click it, and it's just fuck you. No, it's like a feature submission.
So we have a golden opportunity where you have been asked, maybe even coerced by the Microsoft team to give them your ideas. I mean, I just feel like that's a really good opportunity for us.
I feel invited. Yeah, this tweet was sent with Sprinkler Publishing. What the is that?
Let's check it out. Sorry, I'm just getting this up on stream so people
Probably
can
some
read it. How to get soundboard
big-
into Microsoft Teams. Well, you could use OBS Virtual Camera if you want to make your life a
I-
living fucking nightmare and never be happy again.
I don't think it works for Mac because I tried, unless No, you're right with the yeah. I don't know. There's some stuff.
You can, but you can on Mac, but you still have to build a sound hole. You know, like a software sound hole. Like maybe it's not loopback, but like it's just God.
Audio. Is
Hi,
such a pain
Ian.
in the ass.
Should I read it like Microsoft Teams voice?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do. This is Microsoft Teams voice. Hello, Ian. Thanks for your soundboard suggestion for Teams. We encourage you to submit this feedback directly to our Teams feedback forum here. Misfits? Is that misfit? That rules. Microsoft.it
Yeah,
6017BDOKT. Go to that URL, users, viewers. Go to that URL if you want to cause a little trouble. Maybe suggest your own feature.
A little T. Yeah. Don't all submit your features at once. So let's see what this gives us.
Do you know what? This could be an interesting episode where we actually design the feature and send them like a 10-page PDF.
Oh, we should just grab some comps of teams and just overlay, figure out where to put it.
Maybe that's what the show should be. Is we just submit feature requests as like design briefs and see who responds to us.
Yeah, it's just here. No, we actually did all the work. It's ready for implementation.
Oh yeah, no, it's good to go. These are actually grid correct design. So if you want to just hand them off to your engineering team, like I'm happy to talk to them. Talk to your front end guy or gal. I call everyone I work with guy, and I gotta stop it.
Yeah, it's not that bad though. I hear you, but yeah.
Okay.
Just get the fucking side here. Oh, this is where that goes.
I can transition to split screen if you do want to get that in there. I'll get it out of that frame. Get out of my frame.
So it's like a Zendesk. Or what are the other things that do this? It's just a list of feature requests, and it looks like people can vote them up.
Okay. Like that matters. Do you really think that the lead engineer, like the core group of engineers, get together to do the 2023 roadmap and they're looking at this?
For Microsoft, I do not believe that to be the case. I don't even think they've seen anyone use their products ever, or else they would be so fucking enraging. Watch me use Excel for one day, and you'll give yourself some work to do. It shouldn't be this. I shouldn't be swearing this much at something.
I honestly don't use Excel for anything other than making like tabular data. And
you're lucky.
In that, it's fine.
It's actually pretty amazing. It's just there's always something.
So I don't know if you can see my little page down below there. We'll check back in with that as we continue to mess with it. I'm kind of wondering if maybe an approach where the question asking happens up front might be more desirable.
What's that?
If you can, on the Figma file, you see the thing I'm working on, right?
Yeah, I'm I clicked submit feedback and it fucked up already on Microsoft.
Broke your computer.
We'll get back to that in a second. What were you saying?
Okay, so I'm back in Figma. I'm looking at a header. I wonder if
I'm in Figma.
All right. I wonder if we ask the question first. I'm just like redesigning this whole page. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've thought of this. I mean, maybe leading with the question asking isn't the right move. You're like, I already designed a page. Fuck off. No, we're doing it better.
Well, it would have to be one of those ones where it like if it can't find it, it has like we can't find it. Why don't you ask it? You know what I mean? You've probably seen those before.
Oh, okay. A more robust type feature. I'm super down.
I mean, that I don't think that's technically feasible.
Why not?
That's the experience that I would design if I was doing it that way. That's kind of how like Q&A works often on a website.
So what do you want the first thing?
Because it's like,
I feel like the selling point that you're offering here with the hotline name and stuff like that is that people can ask questions. But maybe
yes.
that's secondary to to what this product does. Maybe you just fucking hate the users. Maybe your problem is with people, E. I'm just talking it out. Have your thoughts. Think out loud. Who gives a shit? We're not going to get it right. So it's the hotline, right?
That's probably what it's gonna. I don't have any better names for it.
Well, hold on. Like, let's talk it out.
I can tell you what we've.
Because to me, the hotline name, or at least what we've been that feature that we've been talking about, relates directly to this piece where you get to ask a question.
Yes. The question box? No. Hotline. Research hotline. Boom. That's fine.
So, do you think that this lives further down the page and that this kind of presentation first? It's a little hard to see because I can't see what kind of like... I see what's new, but like what content explicitly do people like get in touch with? Is it PDFs?
I'm not to default.
Is it
no, it's there are some PDFs, but it's all native in this app now. So it's like you're opening a Google Doc kind of. It's all within this app. All the new research. I wish I could take. Let me try and get a better screenshot. Make it useful.
Okay.
Sometimes people just share around like a spreadsheet of like data, and I'll just copy and paste it into a report and put it here just so that it's there, so that people can find it again.
So how are users able to search through it currently? Is it it's like a list of files or like ordered by date kind of thing?
Yeah. There's a list. There's not too much in there yet because it's new. So you can. There's like there's like 6 projects and like 10 PDFs.
We'll plan for 1,000, right? For a
the
like
PDFs are like the old research that I just uploaded so that it's there. But the key is the searchability, because I think a problem that exists like a lot of places is like you'll do the research itself is a bit siloed. Like you'll do research, and on one thing about a page, and then a year later you'll do something the same or similar. But a lot of the time you're only looking at like one report. But with this, if you go in and do a search, then it will show you everything related to that topic, right? So it's like, here's like 3 different reports that are all about images, like how people use the product images. Some of them one might be like a usability or video. One might be about video, because we did a bunch of user interviews and we asked about video. So that was cool. We got some data about that. But then we also did a survey through SurveyMonkey that was just like a few questions about video that gave us charts. So it was like, what do you do with that?
I don't know.
And it's like, yeah. And so now if you go to this thing and type video, you'll see both of the reports come up. So that's pretty cool. Otherwise, stuff just gets lost so easily, right? Like on like shared drives and stuff.
Yeah,
Hard to figure out,
it
like, where
totally
people
makes
put
sense.
stuff.
Like making this stuff available. Like I'm working with a research department now where I have to engage a little deeper. Like it's kind of like this, but I message them on Slack. You know, but I'm not. So maybe we should just focus on like the form component for the sake of talking about forms here. Like just let's not talk about page order or whatever else is here. Is this like what you're looking at in terms of a form? Like, do you need other information?
Um, I
Like
don't
maybe
think
that's it.
so.
Do you just have to
I mean,
identify yourself as like someone in the company, or did you like log
I,
in? With your
I don't, because
credentials?
yeah, you'll be logged in. Um, I don't want to make it. I feel like if it go down that path, it might get to overkill. But I don't know yet. Like we'll play it out. But I could see like asking like, oh, is this related to a current project or is it not a project yet? You know what I mean? Kind of trying to feel out if there's urgency. But then if you ask that, then do you? What else do you? So that might be a good one. I'm trying to think. What else would be relevant?
I don't know, because if we're talking about forms and this is the how big this form is, then that's done.
Yeah, well, it would have to be yeah.
What are some form best practices? Like just in general, like how do you handle forms? Like even here, I say like, what do you want to know about our customers? And that's in that field. Like, is that okay to ask a question like that? Like, I don't really know too much about the science.
It
of
is,
forms.
yeah. The thing that some things happen that are bad are if you have the label as the placeholder text, if you click into that and start typing, like it shouldn't disappear. Like some websites that will go away, and then it's like, well, what is the label of this field? Like you can't have the field label disappear.
That's true.
A
Especially
lot of
with,
dumb,
like,
a lot of
screen readers.
dumb.
No, but that matters.
Yeah,
So I'll adjust that. Are you in Figma right now?
yeah. Is my mouse not there? I'm right here.
I see it. It just hasn't been moving.
What was I going to say? A lot of little things bother me that really impact, I think, the UX
Mm-hmm.
that are so easy. Like that's one of them. Like the labels disappearing. When it's especially when you're on mobile and you don't in the front end, like the field type isn't accurate. Like if it's asking for your email but it doesn't use like the email keyboard, or like you can do things like remove case sensitivity, or you can remove like autocorrect for like usernames, just stuff you're supposed to do
Mm-hmm.
on mobile that a lot of people don't do still, and it bothers me. Or like you go to type your credit card and it's just the default keyboard. Just throw me the number pad so it's easy. Like just using the right keyboard is a really big one, in my opinion. I guess that doesn't apply much to desktop, does it?
Well, I mean, I think we're just
Just
talking
for-
about. At least I'm moving this stuff around to just talk about like forms in general. I think.
How do you feel about alignment of labels and forms? Like you've got them on the top. What about like to the side?
So well, let's try that. Take it out to the side.
Because I was reading, I saw a thing that was like, I'm going to read about this soon, but I don't know the answer yet.
Well, it's such a layout specific thing, but I can put the two next to each other and ask you like which one do you find easiest to visually digest?
Definitely this one
Yeah.
for me.
I couldn't tell you the very specific reason why, other than it just like groups things together in that, like, what do you want to know about our customers, and then it just extends that line. And I mean, you'll hear graphic designers especially talk about read lines, like how wide can like a column of text get before it's too wide to read. And that top example like kind of gets it there for me. But like also, if this is part of my layout, like I could probably find a way to make it work. Like pulling that line in a little bit is going to make it easier. Perhaps not as easy as the bottom one, but like it's gonna get there a little more.
I can't picture in my head like the last time I filled out a form what it looked like. I guess it must have been good. If it was bad, I would have remembered it probably.
Well, I mean,
what's the worst form that I've filled out lately?
I find the trend nowadays is to ask more questions in shorter succession. So, say you had 6 questions, rather than, can I just do that easily? I can't. Rather than put them all on one big sheet, this maybe isn't even lately. This might just be a forever thing. Is take them and stretch them across 2 panels. I'm trying to bang together these panels. Call it white. No, we'll do white there, and we'll send all that to the back. Oh, we have so many layers on this file, there's no way to track. Is to actually split up those questions and then divide them by 5 pips or whatever. I'm not going to be able to get there to actually illustrate that, but...
Oh, I understand, yeah.
Like asking more key questions up front, like, hey, what's your name and email? And you're like, okay, here's my name and email. And they're like, oh, that's great. But what's your birthday and your location and your mailing address and that kind of stuff?
That must have like a limit of like how far you can take that. Because I've done forms like that where it's like, all right, this is taking a long time for you to make it fun, and I don't care.
Depends on the context. Like if I'm getting a free-to-play game on my phone, I generally expect that form to be pretty quick to get me into the game, to get me playing. Anything experiential like that, like if you have to stop the user from what they're doing that is fun to get their account information, you're going to make that a little more streamlined. On the flip side of that, if it's something like a financial transaction or something that is a little more serious or requires more thought, I expect users to be able to fill out the form because you need the thing that's on the other side of it.
That makes sense. Yeah, like you kind of, if you want the thing, you're going to have to do it. I bet
you want the thing, you're going to have to do it.
If you want the thing, fill out the form.
Like, it's like Amazon. Have you ever seen Amazon's forms when you go to sign up or create an account or change your profile or anything?
I guess not for a while.
It's fucking horrendous. Like,
really?
It's really, really bad. It's out of date. There's a lot of considerations that don't seem to be there. It's very bare bones UI that's not like designed for anything. I'm sure that there's thinking there. It would be impossible to say that Amazon isn't putting money into thinking about how users access their site and all that stuff, but like, holy smokes, man. And
those sites get divided.
That the reason is because what are you going to do? Not get your Amazon account because the form was slightly too long, you know?
That stuff is spread across different teams and departments too, and like different, like it's probably a mess internally a little bit, and different code bases. Like you update your style sheets and it's like those ones don't cascade to this page for some reason because the front end code is not the same. You know what I mean? Like you update your site, but not all the pages get updated for reasons. I've seen it with like Google pages too, especially with like Gmail settings. It was notoriously like old looking for a long time. I don't know if it still is. I haven't been in there in a while. Or even some like you'd search for something and then you'd find like a Google help, like help.google.com about it. But it's just like an old version or something with like just old designs.
Yeah, Gmail's like that too. If you go into your account settings on Gmail, it's like unapologetically terrible. That brings us to about 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern. Ian, let's take a 5-minute break.
Agreed.
We're going to take a few minutes, and we will be right back to talk forums. We'll BRB as soon as I find that panel.
Think about your research questions.
Now.
30 minutes.
Rip it and
30
grip
more
it,
minutes.
baby. I just hit start. I didn't even wait. Yeah, let's do another 30 or so. Let's talk about this repository graphic. Ian's enjoying a kombucha over there.
That's actually a LaCroix.
Oh, LaCroix. Good stuff.
It's basically drinking nothing.
It's like drinking nothing at a premium. LaCroix.
Yep. Well, it costs $1. That's not too bad.
Okay.
I was buying the fake beers, but they're like $3 or $4 each, and I'm like, I don't want to spend $12 to get not drunk.
No, the
why would I do that?
Craft non-alcoholic beer market has sprung up around here, and there was always non-alcoholic beer. Like you could buy like a case of like faux Heineken or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're like as expensive as normal beer, and
it's so funny.
I just don't know how you can.
Well, you don't pound. I mean, yeah. When I have them, I'll have like 2. That's what I do now because they do taste good. I miss the flavor of beer, even though they probably aren't good. If I, to you they probably suck, but to me I get a hops thing going on at least,
Yeah, no, I can dig that. I've tried them. I'm drinking non-alcoholic beer right now, Ian. I gotta work tomorrow. I'm a dad, a father. Okay.
Whoa, you just deleted that thing.
I did. Fuck it.
All right, so Scope has crept a bit. We're gonna plug into the API of Asana, which is our project management platform, so that it can populate a list of. No, I'm kind of joking, but populate a list of the projects that exist, so you can select the project.
Well,
as it's related to it, and I'm like, I bet this could be built in a matter of time, but
I mean, we're just talking about type ahead search. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
There's libraries out there that exist that are like, take this list of things and let me type ahead through it. Maybe the process is you search a project first, and then you can ask a question from the project page.
Questions shouldn't necessarily be related to projects, though. I'm trying to flip that
Then it's
script.
a huge box, and it just says, ask me anything. Sexbot in brackets. Sex chatbot. Okay, sorry. What would you like to know about our customers? I mean, let's call that a temporary solution because, yeah, I mean, what is the right thing there? It's an order of information, I think. Like, there's 2 main components. Like, people can search through a repository and they can ask questions.
Yep.
Are they?
It's kind of like that thing where it's like, we want you to ask questions, but what if there's already an answer? You know what I mean? What if that question's been asked already? You don't even need to submit it. It's kind of like, I forget what site I've used it on before, but they work like this, I can think across the board where you have like submit a help request, but then when you start typing your subject line or whatever, sometimes it'll say search for your thing first before you ask, but sometimes it'll just be like, start typing your problem. And if you start typing your like subject line of your help request or whatever, it's doing a search of
document titles.
Existing article. Yeah. So it's like, if you type something that's already there, it'll show you. But then if there's nothing there, it'll just let you keep going and submit your question. And I mean, we're not trying to gatekeep it that much because they're trying to prevent like 1 billion, emails coming into support that they have to deal with. But we also don't want people asking stuff that already exists, because the purpose of this is to get the existing research in front of people. So they're asking for something that already exists, and I guess you failed somewhere.
So I'm trying to figure out if you want them to ask questions or not. I'm booting up Illustrator. I'm going to make a phone icon.
I do want them to ask questions if they have them. obviously.
I'm just trying to think, like, sorry, I know we're talking about, I want to design a header here while we're messing around. I'm just trying to figure out, like,
Oops.
devoid of a very robust search engine, what would be the procedure for people interacting with this?
I mean, there is a robust search engine, right? It's this.
Oh, right, we cut that off the top.
Yeah. So there's already a search. I wish I could show what the results look like, but it would pull up actual, like, real confidential information.
All right, well, let's skip that. Try and make a cool graphic. I'm trying to figure out, like, what this is. I guess we can't go too far into it. I get it. I'm going to make a little phone icon. I guess I should do that in Figma, but I don't know how.
I mean, we could talk about our fun app idea, too.
Yeah, right. Duck into her.
We want to shift gears. Because I don't know how much UX stuff there is. It's more of a, I don't know how much UX stuff there is to design on this form.
Okay.
So, Twitter. What do you think of when I say the word Twitter?
Sorry, I'll start following your cursor.
No, I don't have any. I don't have any. I'm not prepared.
Well, I'm going to observe you because we gotta have something. When I think of Twitter, I think of a bunch of uncomfortable thoughts that I keep reading through for no apparent reason.
I think I can relate to that. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of other people could relate to that too. Because it seems like a lot of people go on Twitter, and I've done this, where it's just like something happens. A lot of time you're angry about something. Maybe you're happy about something. We focus on the negative too much. But something happens, you go on Twitter and you vent and you rant about it. I don't know, maybe it feels good, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're at the brand that you're pissed off at. There's some cool stuff in there too, but yeah, it seems like a kind of a big mess of like people's angry thoughts a lot of the time. So I'm kind of thinking using less of that. People always talk about social media detox and whatnot. So using Twitter less to watch it, but to read it. But I've gone on a couple times just to, and I admit I did scroll a bit, but I went on to kind of do the same ranty thing because it kind of feels good to like get it out. And then I just closed it, and I'm like, maybe that's kind of a good thing to do. Like maybe it's like a therapeutic experience to like vent your frustrations, but maybe you just shouldn't be reading. Maybe no one should be reading it because it's like garbage thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why do that?
So imagine
why do that part.
It's harmful. Like I've done it myself where it's like I need a break from work for some reason, and I'll go on Twitter as a reflex almost. And I used to love, seeing what was new in tech world or a lot of local stuff, like local events or just stuff going on locally. But now the algorithms just like seems like it's fucking everything up. I never even see your tweets. If I go to search for Nick in the search bar, it like has like 5 or 6 other Nicks before you, and I'm like, I don't even know who these Nicks are. but the
No,
algorithms thinks
no.
they're more important than you. But I
Yeah, because
interact with you all the time.
it's trying to increase discoverability, right? Like you know where to find me,
Oh,
but let us
wow.
help him find all the
That's
exactly, right?
stupid.
It's stupid.
So I'm going a little bit off the rails here, but it's I think Twitter has gone off the rails. But I'm thinking like, how do you keep that therapeutic experience of venting without the consequences of having those thoughts you know published in the world? And so is that a problem that is solvable by an app that's kind of like Twitter, where you just pump your maybe pump that thought into it, but it just doesn't go anywhere. And instead, maybe and this is reaching, but it maybe uses some kind of machine learning to like understand what's in the subject and give you a reply like, oh, it's going to be okay, or some kind of like Zen message or like therapy tidbit that's helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, well,
That's
hold
getting
on.
into
Use
areas that
like
I'm
use
not
like
qualified to
GPT
talk
three
about,
to
but
just basically rewrite every tweet to be amenable to you. Because I could deal with that.
hmm. So, and yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
it.
how do you see that shaking out?
Questions. Um, I just kind of saw it as a Twitter without the Twitter stream. It's just the submit a tweet only, but there's no stream.
Okay.
And it's not called a tweet, obviously. Or maybe we redesigned Twitter, and that's what it is, and we call it Twitter. That's not. But I just thought
So
that
like
idea was kind of funny. That Twitter's so bad that we shouldn't be able to read anyone's tweets because they're so horrible, but you should still be able to submit them because it's like kind of getting it off your chest, of whatever you're angry about. And then, yeah, then that's it. But maybe then there's just like instead of, yeah, viewing tweets, it's just a reaffirming message afterwards. It's just like,
you
hey,
hey,
don't worry about it. You got this. You're going to have a great day. Like a fortune cookie thing,
like
but
hey,
just
you said that.
nice. I'm sure there's a psychological thing that someone that knows about that could suggest, but the idea is to make you feel better a little bit. Maybe it breaks the
Well,
habit of going to Twitter, like CBT type stuff, where it's like you're just
it's
trying to
sort of
change your behavior
it's not
and
just
create like
Twitter
new
where you can't read
habits.
the tweets. It's like Twitter devoid. It's a completely separate product. I think where
Yes,
you can somehow type your thoughts into the void,
the void. That's exactly it.
right?
Yeah,
You can scream because that's how I always saw Twitter was like you're just yelling and like and if
yeah,
you're like some people are very good at yelling or they're very charismatic at yelling and it catches like a certain amount of attention. I that's a broad generalization. But you're
yeah. No,
kind
the
of
void is a good.
screaming into a black closet, you know?
Screaming into the void is great because that's kind of what it is. I think another part of maybe the downside of Twitter is when you jam your rant out there, like you might be. I don't expect anyone to really reply to me, but I
Hmm.
bet a lot of people, because I don't have I don't engage on Twitter enough anymore. But like I bet you probably get disappointment if you don't get enough engagement on your problem. Like if people don't like, you know what I mean? So it's like
Oh,
you're
but
setting
you
yourself up
know,
for disappointment.
yeah, but you must know what that feels like when you write a banger and nobody likes it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You
It's just
know,
like that was good. Come on.
that was
Even
actually good. Fuck off. But then you're trying to take other things into account, like, well, what time of day is it? Like, maybe people just aren't online right now, or they're in a bad mood, or like it's supper time, and like that's just yeah.
so the current Twitter experience is so there's a thesis statement. The current Twitter experience, not that we're remaking Twitter, but the
Yeah,
current
I don't know.
experience is disappointing in multiple ways. Here is a better approach to um, you know, yelling into the void that um, is more constructive.
I think it's a therapeutic experience aimed at relieving people of the burdens of their own thoughts. So, Twitter largely
Yeah.
exists because you have to spew out your thoughts. Um,
Hmm.
I kind of
Yeah, I
think,
like that.
this is like a little
A therapeutic
a little like
experience.
Terrence McKenna, but sometimes I think whining on the internet deprives people, not people, but maybe myself, deprives myself the benefit of self-reflection. So instead of just
Yeah.
having a problem and feeling shitty about it until you come to a resolution about it, it's very,
Hmm.
very easy to go online and be like, I'm this thing. Ugh! And everybody goes, I know, me too. And there is a benefit there. There's a social benefit to understanding, I guess, that other people have the same problem. But like for me, taking
Interesting.
a problem, boiling it down into a hot take and being like, bah, 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 moving on with my day is not a great way to think about how to solve a problem in reality.
I wonder, maybe that's like part of the output of this is just like, hey, here's how you can do that or something. Like here's how to think about your problem. Because yeah, you're right. That is interesting. That is a good thing to do, but not everybody knows how to do that. You know.
Well, and I think in the vein of Twitter, we can offer users
I mean, I think that's a pretty big deal actually to be able to do something like that.
how once I submit my tweet, my cosmic, my pseudo
Cosmic, I like that word.
admission to the universe, like how. So we're talking about writing a tweet, and when you send it, it goes nowhere. But there's
Yeah.
this right, like you write a thought and it goes out into the universe somehow. How do we appease users? How does it feel good to do that? So I think we talked about this a few days ago. I played a game. I should look up the name. And it's sort of a game, but a game-like experience. But you play a little character in a room, and you can either send or receive notes. So you're a little
Yes.
character sitting next to a window, and you can type your thoughts out into a note, and your character literally picks it up, and he folds it into a paper airplane. They fold it into a paper airplane, and they throw it out the window. And every once in a while, you'll get someone else's note, and you can read it. But it doesn't at all in any way explain who the author was. And it's
Huh.
this it's the act of like giving and receiving anonymous notes that has an element of catharsis to it.
Interesting. Okay, maybe, yeah. Maybe that's the right. Yeah, okay. I like that's interesting. I think those are some interesting things to explore because I don't necessarily know the other side of it of like, yeah, what it should like what would be therapeutic. Maybe it should go to another person or something and then you get another person's note. I don't know.
Is it like
It's an
some sort
interesting
of
way.
guarantee that
We,
somebody read it?
yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't know. Yeah, we don't have to answer that right away. I like that
I
idea to
mean,
think about.
I think if what we're talking about here were to be a piece of installation art, it would be like an electronic billboard, and people can write anonymous notes on it.
Ooh, that would.
it and so it's being broadcast into the world in this really tangible, emotional way because it's huge and it's in lights and all this stuff, and it's to strangers. But you don't. That's where the connection ends. You just set a thing and it just dies. It doesn't have a life after that.
Yeah,
I
cool.
mean, most users
A lot
would
of.
abuse that to say horrible shit.
I know that's the problem because
That's
otherwise
the
it is a
problem.
kind of a cool idea. To have your like, it's like you can kind of put your thing out there and for other people to see, but you don't have to attach it to yourself. Which would be nice if you could, if everyone could be comfortable being themselves completely. But yeah, that's kind of a neat way to do it if it wouldn't get ruined by everybody.
There's been some neat ones
Okay,
over
well,
time.
kind of neat.
Like
So,
a a version of that, like the internet connecting to tangible reality, was there was an artist. This might have been in like back in our early heyday when we first started working in web. But there was an artist, and you could log into this webcam, and people would take turns controlling the webcam, and there was like an interface, and you could move the webcam around, but you could shoot paintballs with it. So the artist just like tried to live a normal life in this space where he was totally under observation and being like fired on all hours of the day. That was a pretty cool one. Did you ever see the piece of installation art where the robot was constantly trying to clean up its own hydraulic fluid?
Yes, and it eventually
Couldn't
leaked.
keep up.
Yeah, it leaked out so much. Yeah, it died. That's so
Amazing.
I almost like that makes me.
Cool.
It makes me feel bad for it. Maybe is that the point?
That's
but I feel
point,
like I feel bad for that robot. And I'm like, I guess it doesn't have feelings, but that's just such a imagining that existence. But that that almost feels like my life.
Yeah. It's
just trying to keep I'm just trying to keep my oil in, but I'm slowly losing.
And that's I guess was the point. I always like that kind of stuff. When you hear installation art, a lot of people always like giggle, but installation and performance art, like there's been some really wild shit. Like there was a guy, he was a Vietnamese artist who came to New York, and his performance art was he was going to punch a time clock on the hour every hour for a full year.
Okay.
And every time he did it, he took a picture with which he could create a time lapse, and he wrote a statement and released it and the whole deal. And on the surface, you're like, yeah, okay, cool. Imagine if you had to wake up once an hour every hour for a full year just to see this thing through. And when you see the photographic time lapse, you can actually see this guy age, like become unwell. And that was the whole.
I was going to say, like, does he wake up in the night too? Because that would
on the
take
hour,
a toll on your body.
On the hour, every hour, like, you know, totally so dedicated to this crazy idea. But it worked. It's emotional, right? It's like when you hear that stuff, you're like, wow, damn. Okay, so is it like Twitter, but when I tweet, a printer prints it out and burns it?
Maybe.
It's a feed. It's a feed of like a printer that just an old daisy wheel printer that we rig up over a fire pit, and it just endlessly prints out people's like bad, shitty thoughts, and it burns it, and you can fucking sit there and watch it.
It's a self-sustaining fire because it just keeps printing and burning.
We should have like a computer voice that reads what it is as it's getting printed out. Like, so
Definitely.
You submit a thing to this service and you tune into the webcam and it reads it. And it's like, I killed someone in 1985. And then it just like prints out and burns into the fire.
It's like, this isn't post-secret, goddammit.
Yeah, no. Well, it is post-secret because...
No, it kind of is, yeah.
You know, because... Do you remember the anonymous days of the internet? Like, there was never a Twitter... Well, I mean, you could go make a fake Twitter account assigned to any name, I suppose, now. But so much of the internet is assigned to your name, your personal name, that there really isn't that opportunity to speak honestly or speak without the mask or perhaps speak to people that you've known your whole life. Some people are good at it. They're very charismatic. They talk and talk and talk. I don't know. Sorry, are you working in Figma? I've been working on this thing in Illustrator.
Not really. I'm just writing some of the stuff down that we talked about, that we're talking about.
Oh, I have a better idea for that phone.
Arupa. And some of these ideas.
We could
Into the void.
I know that we've talked about this, but Like
Into
we
a
should,
fire.
for next episode, we should just design a brief for this.
Yeah,
Write
we
it,
should. I took down a
design
couple
it,
notes
whatever.
for the brief, but yeah, we totally should. Like this is just this is just like discussing it. Next week this is just hashing it out, brainstorming. Next week we'll write the brief, problem statement.
I think the problem statement can be, I have no mouth yet, I must scream.
Oh, had LaCroix in my craw when you said that.
I got LaCroix.
Yes. Boom.
I feel like this is a really productive episode. We covered
I feel like
8
we
things.
talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we really did. I fixed your page design and convinced you that the right way to do this is with a single form line.
And now I'm gonna.
Here's the question on that project. I know we moved past this. The question I would posit is, at what level of engagement do you want people to actually like reach out to you? Is it like right off the bat? Is it once they've read and discovered? Because like the search box is fine, but like where it is not exactly telling me when it says welcome to the repository. It's not like telling me what to do next.
I would say right off the bat, because they should be able to get to this form without going to the repository, probably. Like if it's not going to be embedded on that page, so it'll have to go somewhere else. So I imagine that link exists as a separate thing. It's just like research questions, ask here, because we have those for other stuff in the company, and that's like a more it's a more like existing behavior where it's like if there's a bug, like if you find a bug anywhere on the site or the apps, there's a form you go to and fill it out with some information. If you customer service people, because they deal with customers all the time, they have their own suggestion. So that form is just in Asana or something. The customer service has their own thing, but it's in Teams. That's just like suggestions. And that's a bit of a model for it, because it's like not every suggestion gets acted on, but if they're like, this should work this way because they see a lot of the problems customers have with the site, whether it's a bug or usability, and so they have a suggestion feed. I think that's all we've got. So we got a bunch of stuff like in Teams. It's just like, that's just kind of boring. To me anyway.
No, I get it. Sorry, I'm here.
No, yeah, I know. I just mean like, I just wanted to qualify that that's boring to me, in case some other people don't think it's boring, and that's fine too.
No, it's boring.
Yeah, it's objectively boring.
Well,
anything Microsoft
UX is objectively boring. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we do this show. It's actually in the description of this show. I've been playing with it lately. Is that the only people who want to talk about UX design is other UX designers? Like, they just, humans, unless you're in that field or not, they don't want to hear it. So it's good to air it out.
They're like, yeah, make the designs, please.
Yeah, like, you do what?
Yeah,
like, it's really about considering how the researchers work through blah, 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 and the framework and the this and the that. People don't jive with it. Just make it. I'm making like a really bad graphic.
I'm looking at it. I just glanced over and I'm like, oh, that looks dope.
It's an idea that I think could be massaged into something better. I was thinking too, the phone from.
I knew it was going to be hotline too. I was like, research 311, or should it be 411? And then I'm like, research hotline.
Research 911.
That would be funny, because my colleague came up with the idea, and I was like, all right, well, you've got to. What is it then?
I can't.
No, I'm not going to do the work. This is the opposite. You have to do it all. And I'm just like, I was just like, I was like, think of a name. It's like, I don't know how to come up with names.
Are you in Figma right now?
Yeah.
There's this 2019 game by Remedy called Control.
Oh, cool.
Video game people are super familiar with it. It's about an sort of like, imagine an FBI building that is actually like a cosmic entity, and it's like a never-ending shifting building, and it's controlled by these astral entities called the Board, and the only way that the FBI can talk to them is through this one red phone.
What's this show called?
It's not a show, it's a game. It's called Control.
Oh, okay. Shit. That sounds awesome.
It
sounds like a TV show.
You're in this building, and you're in like imagine the FBI was studying like sort of cosmic anomalies. So like, I can't even begin to explain it. It's sort of like the Backrooms, the game.
Okay.
When you're walking into the building, they're telling you things like, you can't have any digital devices. You also cannot carry on you anything iconic. So like a bottle of Heinz ketchup or a perfectly sharpened number 2 pencil. Like those are iconic objects and can affect this and that. And also you're in a building that changes. Good game. Anyway, that's what I was thinking about with the hotline idea, was this like bespoke sort of clandestine red phone, sort of like the Oval Office phone, that users could go to when they're in trouble. That's my creative brief. Cool. Is the spooky phone. Creative brief, like spooky phone. I need my $5,000 now, please.
Spooky phone.
Boop. You want a mood board? Spooky phone. Where did you get this idea? I got it from a video game. I'll take my money now, please. Folks, I think that'll probably do it. There's a better image, Ian, actually. I would highly inspire the look and feel of this, especially if it's an internal project on, because you can do whatever you want. Make it fun. Who cares? It's internal. Folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. We covered just a metric ton of stuff. But yeah, Ian, I would say next week we talked.
We talked.
We got a bunch of notes.
We solved problems and we created even more. And, that's how we keep ourselves employed, folks.
Oh, yeah, we wouldn't be making much money if we just figured it out.
For every problem you solve, make sure you find 2 more.
Don't come with answers. Design tip for your future. And don't come with answers. Just come with more questions.
Come with more. Always. Questions are just multiplying. It's out of control at this point.
And if somebody ever asks you a question that you can't answer, go, that's an interesting thing to explore. We should talk about that later.
You send them a link.
Send them a
link.
The
form.
Send them a link.
Going to need you to fill out that form.
Send them a link.
All right, next week, folks, if you have any ideas for this weird Twitter thing we talked about, yelling into the void, feel free to reach out to us. But we're going to continue next week by trying to formulate these ideas into something a little more approachable.
Hey, I'm swirling around this cursor, but can we call this like faux Twitter idea hotline? You can call your thing hotline because it's internal, but also look at this and think about the thing that we've just been talking about for 40 minutes.
It's probably better. I'll even rename my thing if we have to, but
I'm still going to make your thing, though. We should talk about that later.
I like it. Yeah, it's going to be fun to continue on, folks.
HiThereShow@gmail.com. If you have questions, comments, anything you want us to design, reach out to us. HiThereShow@gmail.com. We're designers who will literally design your stuff for free. as long as we can do it on the internet. So please reach out. Otherwise, like and subscribe. What do you got?
That's
anything else?
that.
Closing
I think
thoughts?
that would be a lot of fun, and you should do exactly what Nick said.
All right,
Hit us up. We'll do your things.
We're gonna close out the episode with an important UX fact. 70% of online businesses fall through because of bad UX. All right, that's Design Tuesdays. Thank you so much, everyone.